You're listening to Crystal and Emily on Love Your Shelf, the best librarian podcast in the extensive and highly competitive field of librarian podcasts. Hello.
Hello.
So, we're back again with another fascinating,
Scintillating
episode of Love Your Shelf. We've got some good stuff to talk about this time.
Yay.
Couple of duds, but mostly good stuff.
Cool.
Lots of books and several suggestions to watch. I haven't been watching much stuff lately, but I realized that there were quite a few things that we haven't talked about that I watched, in the past. So I want to definitely bring those up.
Love it.
But we're going to start with books. And the first thing I want to talk about is the phenomenon that is, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. And I just happened to be going through the stacks, and I saw this book that I had ordered several years ago called Are You There, God? It's Me, Margarita.
I love that combo.
Exactly. So it's a cocktail
Oh, how
book.
funny.
And there's another one. I think the first one, it was called Tequila Mockingbird.
Yes, I've
Of
heard
course.
that one. Yes.
And so for those fans of
Margarita.
exactly. So if you're, going to have a watch party for the new movie that's come out,
Get this book. Yes.
Yeah. So, it's not anything like too it's a little unsubtle.
Yeah.
But that's what you want.
I appreciate that sometimes.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's there's a comedic element there that is worth keeping.
Yeah.
You don't have to work too hard. Yeah.
Literary cocktails. Yeah, that's all you need.
Yep.
Then I also, speaking of literary, read a nonfiction book called Once Upon a Tome, The Misadventures of a Rare Bookseller by Oliver Darkshire.
Oh, great name.
I mean, this guy needs to only be writing books
or
about
be
tomes.
a book character. He's painted himself into a bit of a corner here.
Right.
You got to keep going with it, Oliver.
Yeah, everything is a tome for Oliver Darkshire. But like I said, it's nonfiction, and he is in London and worked at Southerns, which is the oldest bookshop in London.
Cool.
One of the oldest still running bookshops in the world.
Cool.
And so it is not stuffy. The book itself is beautiful. It's actually, the cover looks like an old book.
Yeah.
So
I'm
it's
sure
fantastic.
he appreciates the look and feel of an old book,
Yeah.
So that's great.
And he's funny, irreverent. It is not like, what you would think of as an antiquarian, might be. But he sprinkles in a lot of really good history, it's like kind of fascinating information about that whole world, which is, it's really kind of its own world unto itself.
Talking about like old books. And the only thing I think of when I think of old books is that movie with Johnny Depp. Was it called The Ninth Gate? Yes! It's such a good, bad movie.
It is. I love that movie.
I do too. But it's not that good.
No. The ending especially goes off the rails.
It goes, you're already like, wow, this is wild. But the end is like,
But I saw that in the theater.
Love it.
And then I don't know how many more times I've seen it after that. Because, and this is before people talked about ASMR as a thing. But ASMR is the driving force of that movie, because there's lots of page turning and handling of these leather bound books.
Very gently. Oh my gosh, so funny.
I loved it for that.
I the first time I watched it, I had just gotten my wisdom teeth taken out. I watched it with my mom and my aunt, and I know I loved it, but who knows? I might have been, under the influence of pain medications at that point. But I've seen it since then, and yeah, it's a fun movie. It's fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you like Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp in, early 2000s.
Yeah.
And then here's a vocabulary word for the day from this book, Velocore. Which is the smell of old books.
Velocore.
And it's very specific because of how they're stored and all this. Everybody loves everybody says, I love smell of books.
I know.
That's
there
why.
should be a word for that. So that's great. Yeah. Love that. Again, my Inside the Actor Studio. What's your favorite word?
Yeah.
That could be in the running.
That would be a good one. Velocore.
A weird perfume name.
Yeah. Do you want to smell like musty, dusty stacks of old paper?
People would be like, yes, I will pay for that.
There's a company called Replica.
I remember, yes.
In fact, we talked about this in one of the early podcasts.
I think you're right.
Like when we were talking about our favorite things.
Yeah.
There is one called, there's a perfume called...
What was it?
Whispers in the Library.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was a great one. Because some of them were
not very... It has a little hint of Velocore in it. But
it's not full on like musty books. It's just it's like
it just does smell pretty good.
Yeah. So hilarious.
So anyway, I definitely recommend that book, and hopefully this guy's going to continue writing. Now, I mean, I wouldn't say that it's definitely on the lighter side.
Yeah.
You know, the writing is humorous, if not, the most dazzling. I don't know. It's funny, and he's got a way about, storytelling.
Yeah.
But, so I definitely recommend that one.
Fabulous.
And then I'm on a Becky Chambers kick. Mm-hmm. I've talked about another of her science fiction novels. So I read To Be Taught If Fortunate. She has hilarious titles.
I was going to say, I'm intrigued.
And just
from the title.
Her genre is cozy sci-fi. Mm-hmm. So, which we've talked about that before, so we won't get into it. But this one it's a short read. It's almost a novella, but it's about this team of astronauts that leave Earth to go to these other planets to find out. They're like scientists to find out if they're habitable, and and as with all space odysseys, things go wrong. And, there's drama. But
still cozy.
Yeah. It's just different from hard sci-fi.
Yeah.
No. Some people are put off by that.
Yeah. Same way with cozy mysteries.
Yeah. But definitely recommend.
Cool.
For sure.
Okay. Awesome. I think that sounds great. I like that combination.
And then another science fiction book that I've read, or that I'm not quite finished with, is a series of 3 novels. I'm toward the end of the first one, called The 3-Body Problem is the first in the series, by Shixin Liu.
Beautiful.
And it is a Chinese writer. It's been obviously translated, and so
nope, you have to read this in Chinese. Sorry, guys.
That's what I recommend. And this one is more of a hard sci-fi, but it is really unique to me, and it's been recommended by so many people that I was like, okay, I have to read
Fine.
I'm gonna read it. It's a very slow burn. But it takes place in like in 1960s in China, and then 40 years later, and then there's also a virtual reality game. So there's multiple different story places and times, and but it makes sense. It is a page turner.
Cool.
I did not want to put it down.
Cool.
I was very upset that I had to go to sleep and stop reading this book. It reminds me of Contact. Do you remember? where it's sort of it's front loaded with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And you're like, when are we going to get to the science fiction part?
Mm-hmm.
But then it really does. It really does.
Yeah. Oh, cool. And that sounds great.
Yeah.
What was the title again?
The 3-Body Problem.
That's right. Okay.
And
another intriguing title.
Yeah. And so, and also the game, there's a lot of pop culture, I wouldn't say pop culture references, but it's like the game that they play, or that that I wouldn't say play either.
Yeah.
Because it's more serious than that they get involved with is kind of like the game Civilizations.
Uh-huh. Cool.
And then it's also like a few other things too, but I kept going, oh, well, that's, I wonder if they were influenced by that.
Yeah.
And that.
Oh, that's neat. I love a virtual reality sci-fi story.
Oh, it's awesome.
Like Ready Player One. Okay, could it be more mainstream? Like, I haven't even read the book. I saw the movie, and I was like, could this be more mainstream and, like, silly? But I thought it was so fun.
Yeah. Yeah. This is much more on the serious side.
Yes, and
I
like that about it. Yeah, I like add some grit. That sounds really cool. I might have to.
Yeah, and it's also, it's like the main character is kind of like a detective.
Cool.
At least in the structure, like the main character kind of gets involved in this thing. I'm not going to give anything away because it was just really like, wow, how he kind of gets thrust into this. So it's a little bit like The Matrix, and he's kind of like Neo trying to uncover this stuff. And it's a little bit like a detective story where he's like going around town and like, meeting these different people that are involved and kind of investigating them. And he's got this pseudo, like, not sidekick, but this police officer who's like his foil, who kind of follows him.
Yeah.
And
oh, I love it. This sounds so fun.
It is.
What a cool,
so good.
The 3-body part.
3-body problem.
Not
the body part.
I was like, that sounds very confusing.
Different kind of.
I want the answer to that too. Yeah.
Right. It's got like noir kind of vibes.
That's kind of what I was picturing. I love that.
William Gibson also, because he also kind of has like that kind of detective noir undercurrent. And then it also made me think of this book called Sophie's World that came out like, I don't know, 20, 25 years ago.
I know that.
And it's the story in that book is about this young girl who sort of has this correspondence with a philosopher who kind of asks her these questions, and it's really kind of pedantic. And there is a little bit of that, because this is, when I say, hard sci-fi, there's a lot of astrophysics discussion, but it's not off-putting at all. It's like, it's fascinating.
Good. Cool.
And it, kind of, it underscores and informs the story in such a way that it totally works.
Well, and it sounds like I'm wondering if it's something Nick and I could listen to together, because he's usually such a nonfiction reader, but I think it sounds like a story that we could both get into. Cool.
Yeah. And the just like historically, there's all of the Cultural Revolution going on in China, and
this book has everything.
It's just literally everything. So, so far, now I haven't, like I said, I haven't finished.
Okay, so if you finish it and it ruins everything, your world comes tumbling down,
I'll report back about it. Yeah. But I've already got the other 2 books too,
fun.
So I'm ready. This weekend, you know where to find me.
Yeah. It's still going to be rainy this weekend, right?
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm going to read all those books this
weekend. Love it.
And so, of course, it made me kind of, it's, since it's science fiction, of course, there's an outer space element. So it made me think about this podcast that's come out recently called High Strange. High, like H-I-G-H.
Like, oh, okay. Not hello.
Hello, Strange. Okay. Yeah. Which is, again, the very different podcast.
That's the other name for this podcast.
Right. And which is a podcast that is done by Payne Lindsay, he gained notoriety when he put out the podcast Up and Vanished a few years ago.
Yeah, okay.
And Atlanta Monster and Radio Rental, all of which I've recommended.
Which apparently there's a new season of Radio Rental or new
They've been trickling in.
Yeah.
I've listened to them.
I haven't listened. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, later.
Yeah, we can talk about those later. But High Strange is really like jumped on this bandwagon of like extraterrestrial contact. Mm-hmm. And I do not want to sound like a crazy person.
Let it out. I want you to sound like a crazy person.
But it really is pretty fascinating because so he's doing these interviews with people who claim that they have made some kind of contact with something.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're very credible witnesses. And of course, you know, in the news recently, there's been a ton of stuff about all of this, you know, and everybody's like, what are we supposed to think about this? So it's definitely, he's jumped on that.
That's great.
And
wasted
asking,
no
like,
time. Yeah.
What are we supposed to think about all these details that are coming out and that we don't have any, or all of these teases that we have with no details.
Yeah.
Really. And so that's what it's about. And just in terms of storytelling, I think it's good.
Awesome.
Whatever you believe or not believe. Whatever,
yes. Yeah. We're not trying to like convince anybody of anything, but either way, it's food for thought.
Right. The truth is out there, is what I'm saying.
I wish I could do the music.
Oh, I know. We should have that to cue up.
Oh my gosh, I know. Dang. Wait, and what was that title again, that podcast?
High Strange.
That's right. Why didn't... It's not even early in the morning. I shouldn't have. H-I-G-H strange. Not H-I comma strange. Okay.
Yes. And I go through phases with podcasts. Sometimes that's what I listen to the most. Other times I'm only listening to audiobooks.
Yeah.
But I don't do either one as much as I actually like read.
I know. Something. Yeah.
But it is nice when you're like doing dishes, cleaning the house, walking.
I mean, I've gotten to where I have just become so reliant on audiobooks. Because I do have a hard time, like, I hate to say it, but like sitting still. I'll read books one of two ways. I think I've said this before. It'll take me 6 months to read one, or I am dead to everyone and I will read a book in less than 24 hours, depending on,
all or nothing.
Yes. Yeah. And, but I feel like audiobooks have given me a nice in-between. Like, I'm still able to make time.
Yes.
Download the Libby app if you haven't already.
Yes. Shameless plug.
Yes.
But
anyway, yeah.
And some of them the books are so dramatically improved by listening to them.
Yes.
By the performance that these people do.
Yes.
The narrators sometimes are so amazing.
I listened to the Golden Compass series last year, and it was one where they had different actors. I mean, it's like you're watching, not even like you're watching something, but it's an experience, you know? Yes. I mean, they even have like footprints or like foot steps. It's like foot noises. Clearly, you haven't been listening to enough.
Yeah, no, I do. Like some of them, they really elevate the material and make it so much better.
Yes.
But usually in the past when I've listened to a lot of books, I had a commute. And now my commute is 3 minutes.
Yes.
So it's not really worth queuing it up.
I know. Yeah, no, mine's about 3 minutes as well. But it's gotten kind of bad. It's gotten to where, like, if I'm home alone at all, like, I have to have either my audiobook or, like, the TV going, something. Mm-hmm. It's like I'm not okay with silence anymore.
Yeah.
But, I do love it.
Yeah. I definitely, if you're not already or haven't already listened to those podcasts from Payne Lindsay, I definitely recommend all of them.
Yeah, I need to check that out. That sounds cool.
But if you're, a true crime person, then you probably have already listened to all of those.
You're like, tell me something I don't know.
Yeah. Let's see. So I also read another couple of nonfictions. Mm-hmm. Follow Your Breath, Transform Yourself Through Breath Work by Emma Power. And This is one I ordered for the library. And that I've been reading about, like, for, dealing with anxiety, things like that.
Yeah.
It is a very beautiful book. It's like illustrated and I don't know, it's very visual. What's on the page.
That's cool.
I didn't get a whole lot of new stuff out of it.
Yeah.
And then sometimes there was like a little bit of, I don't know, it felt like filler, you know?
Yeah.
Like quotes, you know, stuff like that. Just make the book shorter.
Definitely,
you know,
definitely. And especially, like, if people are wanting that information, I mean, give it to them quick and easy.
Yeah. So that's a middle of the road. You know, if you're into that, it's worth taking a look at.
I mean, yeah, no, because I am interested. A friend of our family's was he posted something on Facebook about just how, like, breathing and meditation can, like, literally change your brain. I mean, it's something all the time. I'm like, I should take the time to do this.
Yeah, there's been a lot of studies on it.
Yeah.
And that is something that I, like, it doesn't even take that much time.
Yeah.
So why don't we just do it?
I know.
Yeah. So, everybody,
let's all do that together.
Yeah. Let me lead it right now. Let's all. No.
That's my attempt at story time. At least twice a story time. Like, in between, like, we'll sing our silly song, and to get everyone to calm down before the next book, I'll say, let's all take a big deep breath together, in and out. And then we'll do it again. And it's gotten to where, like, my sister and I think it was like her wedding weekend, we started that was our mantra. She'd have a stressful moment, and I'd be like, let's all take a big deep breath together.
Sometimes, though, you have to be careful with that, because there's been moments in my life when I've been like really frustrated, where if somebody said that to me,
I'd punch him in the face.
It would be a punch. Yeah.
No.
So be careful with your...
Be self-aware when you're using this tactic. It cracks me up, too, at story time, though, because it's like, really? This big deep breath is for Miss Emily and for the grown-ups?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah.
Like, I can see all of them, like, closing their eyes. Like, they're fully in it. Yeah.
Yes, let's center ourselves.
Anyway.
So, yeah. So... middle of the road book.
Okay.
But it's definitely got, if you haven't read much about that.
Yeah, but it's probably extra information you would want. Yeah.
And then another nonfiction that I read with another fantastic name.
Oh, yay.
It's called Entangled Life, and it's by Merlin Sheldrake.
Stop.
Yeah.
Like, that is not your given name. Like, Merlin what?
Sheldrake.
Sheldrake.
Yes. It's
God,
about...
And I'm over here sitting here with a name like Emily, like an idiot.
Yeah. Like
Emily
millions of other
yeah.
people. Yeah. So of a time period, too.
Yes.
You know.
Both of our names, I feel like. Yeah. Merlin's also so of a time.
but a very different time.
Yeah.
And a different universe or whatever. So, but the book is super interesting.
Cool.
It's about fungi.
Okay.
And it's about, like, the networks that exist and the communication. We've talked about some other books that cover that. But if you are at all interested in that, you will find everything that you ever wanted to know
about.
Unless you're an expert already. This book has got the information for you.
Awesome.
It is just like stacked on one fact on the other, and it's
fungi forever.
Yes. And it is a little bit like piling on. There is something of a, like, is there going to be, like, connections here?
Calm down.
Just stacks of facts.
Merlin.
But it's stacks of facts, and but it's all cool. It's all
Love
interesting.
It. Great.
So I recommend that one as well.
Cool.
And just a couple more books to mention. I am part of a book club.
Brag much? Just kidding. God, Crystal.
You're not a member. You could be, though.
I was going to say, I could be.
This is a book club that we have once a month at the Fredonia Brewery on a Wednesday. If you're interested, look them up. It's a lot of fun. The next meeting is next week. And the book that we're reading for that I finished ahead of time, like a good little student.
Oh, bragging again.
I know.
Gold stars.
Right. is All the Murmuring Bones by A.G. Slatter.
I like the title.
Yeah. It is a fantasy. It is, if you're into like supernatural creatures, there's lots of them. Lots of different ones
Fantastic
in there.
Creatures,
Fantastic creatures, yeah. And it's dark. And, if you're into like dark fairy tales, this kind of, cool. This is for you. And
I feel like there are we have a lot of fans of what you're talking about.
Yes.
So that's cool. Good to know.
In fact, we've read another couple of books in that group that's kind of dark fairy tale. And it is even a much bigger genre than I thought.
Yeah.
There are so many books published that are like different takes on different fairy tale characters, like you would not believe.
I feel like it's the millennials coming up in the world that were raised on like Disney and fairy tales, and they're like, we want the grown-up versions now.
Yes.
We want the grown-up version of this world.
Yeah. And there's plenty to choose from.
Yeah.
So pick it up and then come discuss it with us.
Cool. Can I just say really quickly, I saw a video where this woman was like, anytime I start a new fantasy series, just all the crazy words. So it's like, I started off on my journey with my two companions, Jabba-dibba-ba-ba-ba and Carl. I was like, that is so how it is.
It really is.
Jabba-dibba-ba-ba-ba, like just...
Man,
I'm not reading the name. I mean, I'm literally just like kind of skimming.
You're not trying to pronounce it in your head.
No. It's like, as a kid, I thought Hermione was, a strange name in a book, and no, that's nothing. Yeah.
No. Yeah. No, you're right.
This one has like 3 consonants, or like 7 consonants all next to each other. Yeah.
There is a tendency towards that, for sure.
Anyway.
And the last book that I'll talk about it's not really a book. It's kind of a book. It's called Cain's Jawbone by E. Powys Mathers.
Not a book, but is a book.
Yes.
Called Cain's Jawbone.
So, and then it was also published under a pseudonym, Torquemada. Torquemada.
Mm-hmm. Love that name.
Yeah. We've got so many good names this week.
Really.
And but that was the pseudonym of Mathers, and he wrote crosswords and these like super hard puzzles in the 30s. And this was the Cain's Jawbone was a special issue, and it's 100 pages, and it's a mystery puzzle. So if you can put the 100 pages in the right order, you can solve the mystery.
Excuse me?
And so it was actually people at the time, it was put out and there was a cash prize offered to anybody who could solve it. And I want to say like 2 people did, and up until, now. And so
And this was in the 30s?
Yes.
Wow.
And so
those people were immediately like asked to secretly work, with
it was a test.
Bletchley and all that for World War II.
Yeah, exactly. And so basically there's it's now been issued as a standalone book on its own.
Wow.
And so people are encouraged to remove the pages.
That's what I was about to say.
And
is it
put
bound
them in the right order.
or it's just...
Yeah.
But you can like tear them out and...
You're supposed to, yeah.
My mind is blown.
I know. And
cool.
So each page is like a little vignette. And it is super hard to solve, but apparently there's a solution.
On each page there's a solution. Or several go together kind of thing.
If you get them all in the right order, then it reveals the victims and the murderers.
Okay, first of all, we're getting ideas for escape rooms.
I know, right?
Did you solve it?
No. I mean, I'm telling you, like, I
think you're so smart. I'm like, yes, I bet you could. You're so smart, Crystal.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But I haven't actually started, like, trying to do it. I've read through a few of the pages, but I haven't read all of it, and I haven't.
I feel like you would have to devote, you'd have to not have a life to.
Well, I brought it up to some friends, and I was like, hey, we should do this, for fun.
Oh my gosh!
And they were like, sure.
Yeah, that sounds fun to us.
Like, yeah, let's do that on a Saturday night. So we'll see how it goes.
I love that. That's
I may have to
bribe them with, like, I don't know, wine or something.
Yeah. If you're hearing that, guys, it is time.
Yeah.
We're gonna solve this. Unfortunately, there's no more cash prize for it.
Oh man, I wonder how much
100 years later. I'm so surprised.
Cash prize.
I don't know.
At that point, so curious.
I know. There is information out there about it, but I did not make a note of that.
And it's called Cain's
Jawbone.
That's what I know. That's so cool.
Yes, which is
like
meant to be
Cain. Cain.
Yes.
Cool. Love
anyway,
it.
So if that seems like something that you want to do, contact me, and maybe we can try to work this puzzle out.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Library program.
Yeah, I don't even know if it would be something that you could do as a group.
Right,
it might have to be done as
it might be too many cooks in the kitchen kind of a situation.
Right. Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
We just do that for our next escape room. and we're like, and this time you really can't get out until you solve it.
Yeah. If we offered cash, I bet we could get somebody.
We're famous for not having that.
Yeah, exactly. No money prizes.
No.
Although, in summer, we do.
Yeah.
We do have cash prizes.
Because we get, like, donations and we save.
Yeah.
Just for you guys.
We scrimp and save. Mm-hmm. So, if you read books during the summer and you log them, you could get a cash prize.
Shameless plug.
Yeah. It's coming up.
Summer, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm going to be 33 and then summer reading, and it's going to be crazy.
Yeah. I think we've talked about this before in the past, like, especially since the podcast tends to drop off a little bit in the summertime.
Sorry.
That's because school's out.
Yeah, and we are not.
We are not. This is where people come.
Yeah.
Which is what we want. We love it. Mm-hmm. But it does keep us hopping.
Yeah, I was telling you the other day that when I was a kid, my birthday fell right before we would let out for school. So it was like my birthday, gearing up for summer, the best. And now it's like my birthday is my last hurrah before I gotta really like buckle down.
Yeah.
It's fun, but man, we are busy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But we're going to try to keep up with the podcast during the summertime.
Yes.
Well, we always try.
Yes.
At least.
If nothing else.
Okay.
Anyway.
So I think that's all the books. So let's talk about watches. Things we've watched. And we may have talked about Transatlantic, which is on Netflix.
We did. Oh, I don't know if we did. Did we? Because I don't think we have, because I've been wanting to talk to somebody about this show. I haven't watched it, but I'm curious.
So the main character, I don't know, there's several, but Jillian Jacobs is one of the main characters. She's great.
From Community and other things.
It is about, it's based on facts, historical facts. It's about this group of people who were trying to, and were, hiding artists and thinkers and stuff before World War II, trying to get them out of the countries where they were being persecuted.
Right.
And it is interesting, but it's a really odd tone. It looks, and there's like this feeling of like Wes Anderson.
Yes, exactly. That's what caught my attention at first.
But the subject matter and and otherwise the tone is obviously very dark and serious.
How strange.
I just can't, I don't know if it just seems odd. So I watched a couple of episodes, maybe 3 or 4, and haven't finished the first season, but yeah, I'm really interested to know what other
Something
people think about
has been keeping me from watching it. Like when I first, again, saw, if I were judging the book by its cover, I would have hit play immediately. But after watching the trailer, I was just like, I can't, yeah. Huh.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, there is like oh, that's so and so. Oh, this is the artist. That
that's cool. Yeah,
because they don't like. It's kind of subtle about who all the players are.
Yeah,
but otherwise, it's like this really kind of vibrant color palette, and
I expect, I don't know, something whimsical from that.
Yeah,
and it feels, I don't know, that does feel a little like wonky, lopsided or something.
Yeah, very curious. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay, yeah. Let me know if it blows your mind by the end, but...
Yes, I will.
Okay.
But it might be a while, because I'm reading these other books.
Yeah,
so,
we got priorities, folks.
Exactly. I did finish up Better Call Saul.
Nice.
Which was the 6th season, was the final season, and on Netflix.
How many seasons of the other Breaking Bad were there?
6 or 7?
That's what I was thinking. So it had a nice run. I mean, is it going to keep going?
No, this is the finale.
Well, wow. That's cool.
And I didn't enjoy it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I hate that.
It was very much a slog. It was, it felt like they were like, oh, here's so-and-so from Breaking Bad. Here's a cameo from this guy that you know, except you don't remember it because it was from years ago.
Yeah.
That's the problem that I had with Better Call Saul all along, is that I got into it and I watched like the first 3 seasons all back to back. And then it was like 2 years or something between each of the...
Yes. How am I going to remember?
It felt like that.
Yes.
And it rewards careful viewing. So there's lots of like...
Which is cool when you're
doing
jumps
and stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you're watching it all just, back to back, then, you're going to be like, oh, this makes so much more sense. Or, oh, I'm picking up on this.
Or if you're diligent enough to go back and watch the previous season before. Which I was forced to do with Stranger Things. Like, I didn't really want to. I mean, I ended up being glad I did. But I watched, like, the whole series again before the
I don't like having to do that.
I don't either.
And so I did watch, or I ended up, after season 4, I had given up on it, and it was just like, I don't want to, it's been too long. So, but then eventually I was like, fine, so I watched season 5 and then season 6 pretty much all together.
Well, and I will say there have been some shows where I've been able to find on YouTube just like a 10-minute long recap. Yeah, because it'll be in depth enough. Anyway, those have been helpful.
Yeah,
but still.
But I mean, it is a good show, or was a good show, and it, like I said, there is a payoff for being a sharp viewer, like being a careful watcher, because there's lots of little stuff.
That's cool. Yeah,
little, I kept finding myself rewinding like by a minute or something.
Yeah.
Going, and catching these little things.
That's cool.
Yeah, but
still
overall,
that's a bummer.
Yeah, but
do you feel like, was it like the way they ended it, like the ending, or did you feel like it had kind of been like going downhill, or I don't know, did the end just kind of fizzle?
It was kind of a fizzle, and I would love to like one-on-one with anybody that wants to talk about it, talk about the final episode and what happens in it, because it was inconceivable to me. And I was
that's
like...
a strong word, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like a disappointing,
I think that, and maybe the showrunners, the writers, thought that they had built this character into what he does in the end. But I felt like he didn't.
You weren't there.
And that it didn't make sense.
Wow,
and
man.
But that might be, who knows?
Yeah.
Other people might completely disagree with that. And I haven't talked to anybody about it. I just finished it last week. And so I don't know. But,
curious.
Yeah. So if you're out there watching that, tell me about it.
Yeah.
So then I've got into a couple of documentaries. And one is Cheese, A Love Story. Just came out
board.
on Hulu. And it's about the host is the youngest cheese master in the world.
How old is this young cheese master?
Maybe in his 30s.
Like 5 years old.
Yeah. It's a toddler going around the world eating cheese.
Little genius cheese baby.
So what he does is he goes around the world. He starts, the first episode is in Switzerland, and then he learns all about all the kinds of cheese that are there.
Cool.
And right now it's lunchtime, and I really wish I wasn't talking about this.
I was about to say my stomach might let out a growl, and I hope
hopefully it's not audible. Pick it up. Yeah. Because, but yeah, it's really interesting. There's people who really care about cheese. Mm-hmm. Like, I thought I liked cheese.
But it's like, you're a cheese nerd.
Yes, this guy is the ultimate.
That's all they talk about.
And he meets people who like cheese even more than him. Like,
he's like,
I'm the cheese master, and you're crazy. Yeah.
There is a line.
Yeah. And
I also have to wonder what their digestive situation is like. I just, like...
This guy, yeah.
The amount of, like, lactase pills I would need to take before going on this quest.
Yeah, there were a couple of times that he was like, I think I just ate a pound of cheese.
Oh, no.
And, yeah, that can't be good for anybody.
I would just immediately go to a doctor. Like, save some time.
Yeah. Put me into a coma.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he starts in Switzerland, goes to France, of course, Canada, Greece.
Cool.
Anyway, so all these places that are famous for different kinds of cheese, but some of the the people that he interviews, like I said, are real
cheese crazy,
real characters. And this one in Switzerland, he goes to this like gastro chef that does all of this like wizardry with chemicals. And,
oh my gosh, crazy!
And he also forages mostly for the stuff that he serves.
Yeah.
And so they go foraging, and I was like, this guy is game. Like, he is just up for anything. Because the chef digs down, and like it goes in the forest and like digs down 2 feet into this, like, it's really black, heavy, rich soil, and pulls some out and puts some cocoa powder on it and tells him to eat it. And like, this is a delicacy, this soil.
I'd be like, sir, I've been to junior high before. I'm not gonna eat that.
You're just bullying me.
Yeah, no, you're playing a prank on me.
It was a moment where I thought, these people are just making fun of this guy. They also take him back.
I just want to see what he does.
He'll eat it. He does, by the way, and he's like, this is delicious, like a brownie.
Like a brownie? Mm-hmm. That's not...
Like fudge. No, fudge is what he says. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And so then they go back to the kitchen, and they've brought with them some rocks. And he, like, puts them and, like, distills the rocks, like, gets a juice from them. And then, like, they put that in their food. It is...
Distills rocks? Is that what you just said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like, drips water through the rocks and distills it into a juice of rock.
I'll have to tell my sister that. She loves rocks. I'll be like,
you can taste them if you want.
I know. You can. I'm going to make you some rock juice.
Anyway, I was like, wow, this is intense.
World, man.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so
funny.
If you like cheese, if you like travel, if you like rocks, then check out Cheese: A Love Story.
Is it a series or
it is? Yeah.
Okay,
each
cool.
episode's
it's like a different country. That's what I wondered. Okay, cool. Can I tell you about a documentary I watched? Because you brought up "Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret."
Yes.
Earlier, last week I watched on Amazon Prime. There's a documentary called "Judy Blume Forever," and it's about Judy Blume, and who is still alive and owns like a bookshop in, I think it's Key West, Florida. I must visit that bookshop. Yeah. I mean, my sister was like, "You should like move there and work there." I was like, I don't want to live in Florida, but
yeah, I don't live for that.
No. But I just like there's Judy Blume. I mean, I read a lot of Judy Blume as a kid, and I think I've said, I feel like I love her style of writing. It's so sincere and not ashamed and down to earth, and And she just was still is such a light, I think, for confused teens and preteens, or not even confused, just curious. And it even talked about how there were 2 young women who started writing letters to her after Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret came out, because one of the women had parents who did not talk about anything, and she was curious and had questions about things, and so she started writing to Judy Blume, and they stayed in touch. They're still in touch to this day. And
that's amazing.
It's amazing. She's just an amazing person. And she's gotten so much pushback on her. Her entire career has been people trying to ban her books. And
there's lots of videos out now of old interviews with her where she's ambushed with these people who are
talking about
her.
How she you've written this book about masturbation or whatever, and that's not what the book is about. It might mention it, and as far as I know, no one has burst into flame talking about any of these topics. But her goal is truly to give kids some direction and speak honestly with them. There's nothing wrong with that. I think kids are resilient. I think we forget just what they are capable of and what they know. And that's the other thing too, is I'd rather my kid get answers from Judy Blume and or her books and not
from other stupid kids.
Yes, the bad girl at the playground or whatever. I wasn't sobbing the entire time, but I did shed tears throughout the whole thing. I just loved this documentary. She cares, and yeah,
check it out.
Yes, and I learned so much from some of her books.
Sure, yeah.
I was not comfortable talking to my parents about sex. They were good, supportive parents that talked to us and stuff, but I was not comfortable talking to them about that. So I appreciate Judy Blume for, writing lovely stories, but also, giving even kids like me information that we need to know before we go out into the world and grow up. And
some kids need that.
Yeah.
So
that's my
she
spiel.
is really, really riding the wave of this movie and all the stuff that's coming out. So many people are showing their love for her.
Yes,
right now.
Yes.
Kind of taking another turn. I don't know that you would call this documentary series. You wouldn't call it a documentary series. I know what you're about to say. But there's a series. It has now got a season 4.
Oh, great!
Which apparently just came out. I haven't seen. A documentary now.
Yes.
And it was created by Fred Armisen, Bill Hader, and Seth Meyers.
Which
it's on Netflix.
3 of my favorite. I love all of those people to this day.
Oh yeah. They were all on SNL.
Yes. Fred Armisen can just look at the camera and I will die laughing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Portlandia.
Oh my gosh.
Amazing.
Amazing.
So, but this is a little more, it used to be, when it originally came out, it was on IFC.
Yes.
Which, I'm a movie buff, and so, super into anything that was on IFC. And this was several years ago that it originally came out.
I haven't watched it probably since it came out, but I know I need to jump back in.
But it's basically, they do parodies of famous documentaries or famous documentary styles.
Yes.
The best one, objectively, is the one where they parody Grey Garden.
Oh my gosh, that was the first one I ever saw.
It's just...
is Bill Hader? Does he play the woman who's
little,
little performer?
Evie,
yes. Oh gosh.
Oh my gosh.
His performances. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I cannot recommend it more highly. Some of them are a little more obscure.
Yeah.
So if you're not a big movie buff, you might not immediately recognize what the documentary is, but it's still funny.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. But whether you know the reference.
Yeah. Knowing the reference takes it over the top.
Yes.
But
there's one my sister talks about all the time, and I've never seen the episode, but they're a group called the Blue Jean Committee, and it's a band or something, and I can't remember. she could tell you everything, like who they're referencing, and I don't know, but they're a band, and so the parody songs that they come up with are hilarious.
Well, it is so hilarious.
I'm gonna say again, I love that all three of those men are still successful. I saw Bill Hader on some talk show talking about the new season of Barry coming out, and like I didn't realize that he has 2 daughters. I love the idea of Bill Hader being a dad to girls. And he was talking about how like they'd see like a billboard for Barry, and he'd be like, hey guys, like look, or whatever, and they'd just be like, oh cool, it's Barry, like just so not enthusiastic.
It's funny how many celebrities say that their kids don't care about them being celebrities.
Yeah. I remember Reese Witherspoon after she won the Oscar for Walk the Line, like the first time she played the soundtrack of like her singing in the car, her kids were young, or one of them was young, and they were like, I don't like it. Yeah.
Oh. Keep you humble, I guess.
Yep.
Right. Well, so after seeing that this was coming out, and then that it, reminding me of Fred Armisen, I remembered that there was a show that came out in 2018 called Forever with Maya Rudolph.
What?
And it was on Amazon Prime. It is, I don't want to really say everything that it's about, because it was one of those that I started watching without knowing what it was going to be about. And it's good. It's funny.
It's on,
but it was
on
canceled
Amazon?
It was canceled after 1 season, though.
What is it about?
I don't really want to say. It's
okay.
Very odd and like kind of a little existential.
Okay.
But it's about this couple, and that's all I'll say.
I've never even seen it, I don't think.
I said, it was kind of a flash in the pan, and then...
she's another one that I am for... she's one of the funniest people that's ever been on SNL, I think. I mean, there's a handful, and that's one of many, but I adore her.
So then that also reminded me that she's got a new show on Apple Plus.
Yes, which I haven't watched.
Yeah, it's called Loot. And she plays like this, like a wife of a billionaire.
Yes, that's right.
And like, so she's super out of touch and got like a touch of Oprah, except she doesn't really have anything to do because she's not the one. She's
it's
just
like
the
she
wife.
has the attitude, but nothing to back it up.
Yeah, exactly. And so I haven't watched all of it, but I watched several episodes, and it's pretty funny.
My sister watched it. She said she really liked it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's it. Yeah. We have a lot to talk about this time.
Yeah, we did.
And some more things, too, we'll come back to next time if we get around to it.
We will.
Finishing all of these things we haven't finished. But, yeah.
Yeah, until next time.
Talk to you then.
Ooh, you got it right. Bye.
Bye.